Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. Hope you guys are staying safe. I hope everything's good wherever you guys are. Guys, um, you know, I wanted to talk a little bit about Beterbiev and Bivol. Timothy Bradley's had something to say. And Timothy Bradley is well and truly in the Dmitry Bivol camp in terms of who he thinks is going to win the fight. Now, I don't know how that will sit with Bob Arum, the fact that, Bradley works for ESPN. You got to respect Bradley. Bradley could easily say, back Beterbiev, but actually he's backing the guy who he thinks he's going to win, which I respect. Because a lot of these guys, are affiliated with a certain platform. I remember even Johnny Nelson, he said that, Anthony Joshua would beat Tyson Fury. I don't think Johnny Nelson, being as shrewd and being in boxing for that long, thought that, Anthony Joshua would beat Tyson Fury. Surely not. But I think because he was affiliated with Sky and Joshua was a Sky fighter, he was picking AJ to beat Tyson Fury. Did he actually believe that? I'm not sure. But Tim Bradley obviously is not picking Beterbiev, even though he basically commentates on all of his fights because he works for ESPN. But yeah, he's been firmly in Bivol's corner. If that fight was to happen, that he thinks Bivol's gonna win the fight, he goes Beterbiev only has a puncher's chance. I think that's very harsh. I think that's very, very, very harsh to say that Beterbiev only has a puncher's chance when Beterbiev is a very, very, very good boxer himself. And like I said, I think he's got very underrated boxing skills. I think Beterbiev is going to press Bivol, and I think people underestimate how good Artur Beterbiev is, and I think people are going to find out how good he is when Artur Beterbiev actually gets in the ring with Dmitry Bivol. I don't think Beterbiev is going to get his full credit unless he beats Dmitry Bivol. I think that's when people will find out how good he is. Now, a lot of the consensus is that Dmitry Bivol will beat Artur Beterbiev, and on what basis, I don't know. On what basis, I don't know. Because let's be brutally honest. I mean, Dmitry Bivol hasn't looked that impressive. But the last year, when he fought Canelo and Ramirez, where his stock has really risen. Prior to that, Bivol wasn't very highly rated. He was actually seen as somebody that's actually underachieving a little bit and not really performing great. He was getting the job done, but he wasn't looking that great. Then all of a sudden he beat Canelo, beat Ramirez, and the opinion just swayed. One thing I will point out is that Canelo's not a natural 175 pounder, and Ramirez again was a guy that moved up as well. Although he's a big guy, I said from the start that he's not technically the best. Beterbiev, on the other hand, is a completely different style because Beterbiev is a very, very good pressure fighter. And unlike Canelo, Beterbiev can do some serious damage to Bivol. He has the kind of power, the kind of dynamite in his hands that can really cause Bivol a lot of issues, and he could hurt Bivol. And if Dmitry Bivol isn't able to hurt Beterbiev could just start walking him down, start bullying him. And does Bivol have that kind of physical strength where he can push someone like Beterbiev? Beterbiev is very, very well built like a house, very, very strong. He almost is like a bigger version of Canelo Alvarez, effectively. But he's a natural pressure fighter. Canelo Alvarez isn't a natural pressure fighter. That's an area that Canelo's improved over the years, but he's not a natural pressure fighter. Canelo actually likes to box, slip, and he likes to counter punch. He's not somebody that likes to walk people down. He's got to become more effective at it as the years have gone by, but I don't think that's his style. That's not something that Canelo is brilliant at. Beterbiev, that's his game. Golovkin, that's their game. This is these people's game. This is what they do. They do that in every fight. They walk people down and they wear you down. That's what Golovkin used to do. That's what Beterbiev does. That's what they do. That's how they fight. So that comes naturally to them. Whereas someone like Canelo has developed his game and developed that area where he's become a very, very dangerous pressure fighter, where he walks you down, he batters you. But if you look at it, he did that with Billy Joe, did that with Caleb Plant, did that with Callum Smith. But against against Dmitry Bivol, he was actually on the back foot. There was many times that Dmitry Bivol actually put him on the back foot. So Bivol and Beterbiev for me is just a ridiculous fight. I think it needs to happen. I think it's probably the best matchup in boxing. You know, probably putting Spence and Crawford aside, I think it's probably one of the most evenly matched contests in boxing that we want to see. I think it's one that you can't really predict either way who's going to win. I favor Beterbiev just because I think his power. I think it's going to be a bit like Govzik, where I don't think Bivol will be as easy as Govzik, but I think it's going to be a similar fight where I think Bivol will get broken down by Beterbiev. But it is a very, very tough fight to call. But Bradley seems very confident. I remember one of my subscribers had a go at me saying that, why are you so confident that Beterbiev wins? Well, why is Bradley so confident that Bivol wins? You know, everyone has their own opinion. So it's not a case, I'm just giving you my opinion. That doesn't mean I'm right. But let's not forget. Also, I want to point out is that fact that I said that Beterbiev beat Bivol as an amateur. And actually, going back on that, I went off another show that I was watching, but actually looking back at it, I don't think Beterbiev and Bivol ever fought as amateurs. So that I got wrong. But in terms of this fight, I mean, I think it's a cracking fight. I do. I think it's a fight that I want to watch. You know, and let's hope that Bob Arum and Eddie Hearn, these guys, Bob Arum and Eddie Hearn can get this fight on. Eddie, I don't think Eddie really wants it. I know he's saying out there publicly that, oh yeah, you know, we'll make the fight, and but Bivol wants to fight. I don't really think that they are that interested, because what does Matchroom have to gain? You know, Bivol, because Matchroom know that fight's not going to happen on DAZN. Yeah, that fight's going to have to happen because they know what Bob Arum's like. Bob Arum's not going to allow that fight to happen on any other platform but ESPN. So Eddie Hearn's not going to get that fight. So then it comes down to, well, you know, it comes down to whether for me, I don't think that fight. For me, I don't think that fight is going to happen. Personally, I might be wrong. Maybe, you know, some may disagree with me, but I don't think that fight is going to happen, because I think Eddie Hearn wants Beterbiev to fight Callum Smith, and I think he wants to make Bivol Boatsy. I think he wants to give his British fighters that he's promised these big fights to. He wants them to get those fights, and yeah, so I think that's what's going to happen next. I don't think the Beterbiev-Bivol fight is going to happen. And I don't know why governing bodies, promoters are not forcing that fight to happen. You know, and that's the problem in boxing, is that we just don't get the fights that the fans crave. I mean, the fans are craving the Beterbiev-Bivol fight, but it doesn't seem like that fight is going to be made. And it's disappointing. It's disappointing that a fight of that magnitude between two elite great fighters that had great amateur pedigree, we can't even get it on. We can't even get it on, and we're getting fights that we don't want to see. And one of them gets beat, or, you know, one of them loses, then that fight that everyone's wanted to see goes down the wayside. That's a great fight. Look, Bivol Beterbiev isn't really going to move the needle in terms of you know, popularity. There's certain fights that actually I think damage the sport, because they actually have the potential to grow the sport and move the needle. This isn't one of those fights that are going to do that. But for the hardcore fans, for people like us that are that crave big fights, this, for the hardcore fans, will be a super fight. It'd be a super fight, because we know about styles, we know about clashes, and we know that a boxer via great skilled pressure fighter who can punch is going to be an epic clash. We just know stylistically that's going to be a great fight. You know, we just know that this is a very intriguing fight, a very, very interesting one, a one that we can't really call the winner confidently. So those type of fights are exciting and great to watch for a hardcore. You know, some of the casuals, they like to see crash bang wallop, but for me, this fight is very intriguing, because I actually think stylistically it's going to make for a very good fight. Bivol's going to have to show us something that we've not seen before from him. He's going to have to show a lot of toughness, a lot of resilience. And Beterbiev is going to have to show a lot more smarts, because he might have, in this fight, he might miss a lot more. He might not be able to get to the target as easy as what he has with other guys. So that's what interesting, like who can make the adjustments, and whoever probably makes the better adjustments probably wins the fight. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.